Hey, howdy, it's me, Medicated Mark, coming to you from the bunker system located underneath the Ardville found somewhere in the jungles of the Midwest, and got some records today. So I was thinking, like, well, yeah, it's like, the first thing is like, winter's almost over, nearly over. I'm sure there'll be another cold day or two, but this whole next week's going to be like 40. Had some really warm days, got all the gardens cleaned up pretty quick. I attribute that to in good order, good shape. Attribute that to working out. So this video has got to be another little, got something a little new on the workout front to share. Just cleaning the dust off of it right now. So anyway, it's like when you get older, people say it's like we're time's shorter, and it is somehow, because the summers go by and you're like, what? I didn't get anything done. And then the winters go by, but that's good. I used to remember them dragging, but the one thing is, honestly, about doing all this workout and being older is that I'm not affected by cold so much. I don't haven't worn a heavy coat or done just layers and shirts and and I'm just not really all that affected by cold. I guess like I used to be when I was sitting around a lot. Must be just blood flow. Anyway, so this, all right. It's when you're so many aches and pains when you're doing it every day, and there's no getting around it. And I do so much exercise that I try to rotate things, but you have to do a little of something every time, like weightlifting. Because if you don't, you can still spend 2 hours like doing the elliptical and rowing, and rowing's good for the shoulders. Okay, the elliptical I don't use the hand things. I just, because of the shoulder problem, I don't need all that motion, right? So I limit. It's so complicated, all of this, and so exciting. But there's one machine I do that I adapted to do all the physical therapy things. The guy showed me, working on my shoulders, and you almost have to do that every day. And I skip like heavier weights and start doing ropes. The ropes, the long, heavy ropes, and these balls that are like 20 and 25 pounds. And people, they look silly. They pick them up, they throw them on the ground. But I realize all this stuff just replicates all the stuff you did as a kid, just naturally for fun, playtime. So I'm doing that and picking the ball up, and that's after 3 years, man, just like bending over, squatting and picking stuff up, and because the back, the sciatica hardly bothers me anymore. That's the other thing that all the exercise has done is really sort of made that the back pretty strong, and the knee gets numb sometimes. But never mind about that. Anyway, what were you holding up? This. So, a couple of years ago, probably that long ago, I was looking at stuff like this. This was the handheld vibrator. Oh yeah. We're really going to have a show here in a moment. So I bought a cheap one. It was like 20 bucks, $29, $30, somewhere in there. It got good reviews. It had 2 heads on and a big long handle. So I bought it because then it's before I had the shoulder surgery, so it's been at least a year. And I thought, well, I'd have my wife use it on my back, and it'll make my shoulders feel better, and everything will loosen up. Well, one time, and she said, oh, that vibrates my hand too much. But I like it when you do it on me. So since then, I've damn near worn the thing out on her. I haven't used it on myself at all. It's really kind of awkward. It's great if you're using it on somebody else, because you can sit behind them and watch TV and just hold the handle sort of down and not have to hold the whole gizmo up, and you kind of support it, and you watch TV. And it's loud, though. The motor in it is loud. So when I researched, there are cheaper ones. They're ones that work. They're sort of like jigsaws, And I think at first you could buy like a ball to put it into a jigsaw, and actually people would use them that way. So they've evolved since then. So but basically the motors are on, all of them are the same except for this, the Hypervolt by Hyperice. And the reviews I bought it direct from the company. And I read a review online that was a good review of this, but I didn't look at the Amazon reviews, which weren't as good because of a mechanical issue, I think, with the switch. I haven't had that issue. So it has a different motor and it's so quiet. So the men complained about all the other handheld massagers. They're loud. So that when you're in your bedroom pleasuring yourself, the whole building can hear you. You know, fortunately I live by myself out here in the country. But just a neighbor that might, never mind. Okay, it's not for that. It's for all the, and it comes with different heads you can put in. This is like a just slightly soft, still pretty hard, slightly soft. The big, one of the bigger heads. They have a little more pointy things, but this is not for me. So, very quiet, and so the motor's just different, which makes it quiet, and the massaging motion is just a little slight different. Probably doesn't make a hell's beans worth of difference. So I'm going to turn it on. Okay, turn it on. So this is the battery. The battery goes in here. The whole handle is the battery comes out, goes in. You plug it in here to charge it. The switch to turn on is here. And you can't see because of the light, but this lights up and shows you your charge, and the handle has a little ring around it that lights up. All right. So just to turn it on, the button in the back, you just push it once. There's 4 settings. I just used the first one. I got a fan running in the other room. It's louder than this. See, that's pretty amazing. So for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but the only noise basically is the thing hitting you. And I can get everything. And the amazing thing is, you exercise as much as I do, is that you ignore so many pains. And this thing sort of points them out. Points out where the pains are. And it was kind of pricey. It was more pricey than the other, like the Vibe, which got pretty good reviews. This was like $350, right? So, you know, I held off for a long time, but I've used it for a week now, and I must say that after I get done with it, the whole body, wherever I use it, relaxes, and I can get everything. I can do everything but my back, right? So, to do my back, I've got a roller I use at the gym. Oh, what the hell's a brand name? I'm not going to be able to think of it. It's got a PVC tube in it, and it's coated with a not a hard density foam, but it's got a bit of a give to it. So it's a little bit different than a regular gym roller. Cheap ones are just like a solid foam thing. So I bought one for myself, and it's open. It's you know, it's just really nice compared to the others. But I realized they came with a motor in them, you know, so I could vibrate and roll. So I bought one. It was an $80 one, but I got one on eBay brand new for half of that. And I'm glad I did, because frankly, I'm really not too thrilled with it. I was going to take it to the gym and use it, but really didn't care for it. It's a little bit too round, too big. Maybe I'm just used to the one I'm using. It's bigger than that in diameter. And the vibration's okay, and I'll lay on it here at the house, and but it just really doesn't get into your back like having somebody around to do it for you. But didn't replace the roller I've been using at the gym. That's the story for today, unless I think of something else. Let's go right to the records. A few religious records, some gospel albums, right on top. Bought basically for the covers. Melody Maker, Something Good. So I think this guy right here has something else on his mind rather than something wholesome, would be my guess. It's human nature. I don't know. They tried really, and the harder you try to avoid it, the more you want to not avoid it. God's Message and Song, another terrific cover. This one from Crusade, Tazewell, Indiana. Kenny. Somebody signed his name, or he signed it, Kenny. Who's that, Kenny? Sealed, We Came to Praise the Lord. It's the Van Gundy Trio. Terrific cover. Queen City album, Cincinnati, Ohio. It's local. I think they're out of Louisville. All right. No great shakes on this cover. No photograph on the back. It's the North Dayton Baptist Choir and Pastor Joe Baker. It's a local album. Was it too much money? Hopefully there'll be some solos on this. I don't know. We'll see. Good news. The Interstate Quartet. This was like a fabulous record. It's also Queen City. However, the recording company was located in Cleveland, Tennessee. No, LaFever Sound Studios in Atlanta. Never mind. You don't need to know all that. Norvell, Cleveland, Tennessee. Anyway, on the back, there's a photograph of the Interstate Quartet. I think that's going to be pretty good. And just stuck in the bin at half price, full price, super high price books, where everything's pretty super high priced. It's the Jimmy Rushing Band going to Chicago on Vanguard. It's a great cover. That's Jimmy, Big Jimmy. He's a big boy, Big Jimmy. Jazz Showcase. At the Movies with the Ray Charles Singers. Don't know if I've got this, probably do, but not sure. Not sure. I love little notes like this, not taped. People sit around all day and taped music back in the day. They were just foolish, not like me. I don't use tape. I digitize everything. Oh my God, people sat around all day and digitize stuff? Well, we just run it over our scanner now. Oh boy. Perthy Faye held over. Today's great movie themes. It's probably $1 from someplace. Airport Love Theme. Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head. I'm sure I don't have that one. Probably for good reason. The Modern Jazz Quartet. This is from the new record store I found. I went back because I was with my wife and I felt uncomfortable spending too much time there, so I rushed through some areas. But I realized that they have almost an entire store full of new stuff, like reissues, represses, and there's some, a row of older stuff, and the prices were pretty good. There's some interesting things still. I don't know if I think they got a real sign up. It was a banner. They must have just opened, so maybe I got there at a good time. It's pretty far away. I won't go there very often. Hold it up. Okay, it's the Sheriff, the Modern Jazz Quartet. This should be good. 3 songs in the back, on the reverse side. Anyway, and speaking of great covers, I bought this for the cover on Mirror Records. It's the Afro Blues Quintet +1 Discovery 3. That's really a fun cover right there. Nice. Also nice on King local. It's a Latin record, a cha-cha-cha record on King. Priced right, in really good shape. Oh jeez, don't even try to pronounce it. Just hold it up. Look at that. That's great. In the dollar bin at the record store, the Charlie Bird Hit Trip. Charlie Bird Hit Trip. Love Is Blue, Up, Up and Away. Barefoot in the Park. The Look of Love. Just because I like the cover, I have no idea. Jimmy Wakely. Some sort of country dude. Jimmy Wakely. Dollar bin, I think. Errol Gardner. Yeah, this might have been $3. Three bands on side 1. The lead track is Caravan, which is a great song, one of my favorites. Another Charlie Bird album, The Touch of Gold. Norwegian Wood. Michelle. A couple of Beatles tunes. 3 Beatles tunes. Yesterday. The theme song from Bonanza, titled Bonanza. $1. Gloria Lynn. Dynamite. It says Dynamite on the back, not on the front. But apparently there are other people they crammed onto the disc to fill it up. Jesse Melvin Band. I don't know. Anyway, it was $1. And this was a great cover. I don't think I've got it. Jonah Jones Quartet. That should be fun. Another great cover. Hope I don't have this one because I paid about $10 for this. It's Eric Gloss. Love and All That Jazz. Love for Sale. The 7-minute and 20-second cover of Love for Sale. Richard Groove Holmes on organ. Grady Tate on drums. That should be fun. Herbie Mann, Big Boss. One of his later albums, but still there's jungle fantasy on this. I'm not sure if this is kind of a collection of his stuff. Very well could be. But he's made some really good stuff. Also for $3, it's a Superman Power Pack Superman album with the built-in comic book, which is still there. Built-in's fun. They're always fun to find. $3 for that. A couple of stories, Superman stories. Incredible Jimmy Smith. I got my mojo working. Jimmy Smith, Gatefold on Verb. Creed Taylor produced. Jimmy Smith album. That'll be fun. And also for $3. Nice find. It's Laylo Schifrin. Themes from the original score of the Paramount television show Mannix. Arranged and conducted by composer. Assume he wrote the music for Mannix, but without reading all this copy to make sure, I don't know for sure whether he just covered it all. Covered that, or probably not. He probably wrote it. Anyway, it'll be great. Schifrin's great. I don't know anything about this. The Barclay Stars, Guitars Unlimited. Guitars Unlimited. French, seems like. Recorded in France. The group is all a bunch of French names they can't pronounce. 1966. At a thrift shop, a budgety budget flamenco record on Pickwick. It's Pickwick. Flamenco Festival of Hi-Fi. Nice cover. Probably got 3 or 4 or 5 copies of this, but hell, for $1, picked it up again. Nora Morales and his orchestra. It's got a sticker on it, stereo sticker, covering the design, the logo, design, I guess, design, logo, product of Pickwick. So I may not have the stereo version, just because another budgety budget. It's a waltz record, but it was a fun cover, in pretty good shape. On golden tone, waltz favorites, 77 strings. They couldn't afford 100. 100 strings got one more, so they called them 101 strings. There was 99 strings, and this is 77 strings. They just couldn't quite afford to hire enough people to play strings. Anyway, Vincent Rock's The Blue Caps Roll. It's like kind of worn out, but for $1, it'll be fun. Fun to listen to it. I don't know if I've got it or not. I'm not sure. And for $1, Sammy Kaye, still making music. When? What's the date on this? Don't know. Sammy Kaye. But here he's trying to get hip by covering Raindrops Keep Falling on Your Head, Maxwell Silverhammer, Beatles song. Something. Two Beatles songs. Something I can't even imagine. I won't be sampling that. I won't be sampling this. It's a Gordon Jennings album with just a really nice cover. Listen to music tuned to the tempo of a lazy tropical cruise. Maybe it'll be okay. Ooh, feature conga drums and bongos. Got lucky on that one. Featuring bongos and conga drums. It's a Joe Local album I've never seen. A cover I've never seen, at least I don't remember seeing. It's Make My Mambo, Joe Loco. Really excited to find this. Probably try and share something off of this one. I hope. That's it. Hold on a second. And you can terrorize the dog when you're sitting. I had to calm treat her so she wouldn't go crazy. So I wasn't terrorizing her, but I could if I wanted to. I could terrorize her by just doing this and making quick hand motions that she wouldn't like. Anyway, she's pretty comfortable with it now. She'll just sit on the couch and let me do this. She'll come over and bug me for treats now and then. Give me a treat, so I'll leave you alone. And I'll give her a treat. She leaves me alone for a while. Well, thanks everybody for stopping by, and now on to the musical sample.